the more people are aware, the more they have information, knowledge, and the more they relate, or they can relate to policy, to law, to a technology, the less there is fear, and the more there is not only acceptance, but also desirability.
Welcome to Intangiblia. Today we have a very interesting episode. We're going to be talking about sustainable by code, rethinking tech, governance from IP to AI. We are joined by Anna. She is helping shape the legal foundation of our digital future. She works at the crossroads of sustainability, technology, and law, asking not just how innovation moves forward, but how it can move wisely, fairly, and with intention. Anna's trajectory is as global as interdisciplinary. She has advised on responsible AI governance, helped build international frameworks on sustainability and innovation, and explore how legal systems can adapt to realities of blockchain, Web3, and generative AI. Her work spans institutions, sectors, and continents, always guided with a clear ethical compass and deep understanding of the systems that connect us. From corporate responsibility to legal design, from dispute resolution to future-facing IP, Anna brings together rigor and imagination. In this episode, we explore how law can be more than just a boundary. It can be a tool for possibility, protection, and purpose. Because the rules we design today will shape the tech we'll live with tomorrow. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Laetitia.
So Anna, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for talking. And I would like to ask you the first breaking the ice question. Tell us about yourself and how you landed here in Geneva.
All right, thank you. You already quite introduced me, so I will not repeat what you've said. I will give you, let's say, 3 figures, 4, 16, and 20. 4 is the number of fields where I'm specialized. Well, they're all quite interconnected, but firstly, I started in Geneva. By doing a degree in international relations at the Graduate Institute. It was HEI de Genève back in the days. I think people know it by both HEI de Genève and Graduate Institute. So IR political science, then area studies at the University of Geneva, law, including PhD in law from Sciences Po Paris, and I also studied design and business communication. I studied partially web design and web development, and now I'm studying more like the business psychology side. So the 4 fields, then 16, actually 16 and a half, but let's stick with 16, is a number of startups that I helped in one way or another. I advised either legally or just administratively or regarding the sustainability. And 20 is the number of years of experience, as you mentioned, from corporate sector to the United Nations to law firms in Brussels, a lot of consulting, NGOs, and now I work for Digital for Planet, is an NGO in Zurich, and we work on digital sustainability.
That's a beautiful career, so you have walked many paths.
Yes, I saw a lot of, let's say, continents and fields and people.
That's amazing. I'm very happy to have you here. So let's dive in. You move comfortably between policy, ethics, innovation, and law. What's one thing you believe the legal field should embrace more boldly as we shape the digital age?
Yes, today the digital age is this transformation from, let's say, commodities economy to the digital economy, fully digital economy, and this leap happened much faster than we thought because or thanks to COVID, to the pandemic. We were all locked and we were all online, and so we are fully now in the digital economy, let's say. And the legal field, as actually other fields, what it needs really in this digital age is interdisciplinarity, but the real one, not, for example, before coming to the consulting and NGOs, I worked for 10 years in academia, from PhD to associate professor position. And there, For example, in legal field, whenever you have one researcher who does social studies for you or data analysis, and it becomes either qualitative or quantitative analysis of something, of legal decisions, of case law, it's like, oh, it's interdisciplinary. I don't think so. I think really bringing people from hard science, natural science, social science and humanities, including law, it's really like being stronger together, more aware and more sustainable. I think this is really important. Like people who create tech, the tech people should absolutely work together with people from social science and humanities, with lawyers, with economists, with sociologists, with natural scientists, and the other way around.
So that you can build from their strengths. So everyone
Exactly.
comes with their own expertise and knowledge, and then you can build something better together.
Exactly, as you say, from the strength, because the difference is not a weakness, it's complementarity. You can complement each other, and it's only strength, as you say.
Yeah, perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
So you work also on the frameworks for responsible AI, platform governance, and emerging tech. What do you think is the most exciting shift happening right now in how we regulate innovation?
How we regulate innovation?
Cha-chan.
I'd say what is really important, I don't know if it's very exciting, but it's
It's exciting.
it's
Let's see.
definitely in a needed one, I'd say, is the human participation and value-based participation. Not only, what I mean human participation is human oversight, because obviously we have human participation because humans create AI. Human oversight, once everything is created, it's relevant for AI, it's relevant for IP. I'm sorry, if your AI wrote a book for you on your behalf, or an article or case analysis, anything, there could be plagiarism, and that's also an IP issue, right? So it should be not only human oversight of the final content of anything, even if it's just text revision, even if it's just language a spell check. Less that, but if it's a bit more than spell check, human oversight and value-based oversight, meaning when we use the work of others, we cite them. It's called intellectual honesty. So let's continue with that in AI age and platforms age, just the same basic values that,
The
our
same
society
principle, different tool.
shares. Exactly, we just bring them online.
Yeah, of course, makes sense because that's how everyone else's grows as well. You acknowledge other people's work, and then you build on that, and then everyone keeps growing together. No one is left behind.
Exactly, it's beneficial for everyone. Yes,
Yeah, of course.
yes.
In your experience, how can IP, intellectual property, and sustainability work hand in hand, especially as more creators, coders, and entrepreneurs want to build with purpose?
You're right. More and more creators and social entrepreneurs and startups build with purpose, because on the one hand, one of the main differences of a startup from just a company or just a small company, small and medium enterprise, is that to have a purpose, have a social purpose, sustainability purpose, right, is one of core differences of a startup from just SME. So I'd say at this more micro level is incentivizing through investments, as well through regulation, but also protecting, including IP protection, what startups offer. Because it's in a way nurturing, right? These small but super smart, unique ideas with purpose, sandboxing. So once, when they are in the sandbox, we incentivize and protect. However, and that's paradoxical, once they grow, I would go, including in regulation, for promoting open licensing for shared solutions. Once the solution is mature enough, is grown up enough, we should share it. So it sounds contradictory, but it's not, it's complementary. We protect and incentivize when we need it. And
when it's being built.
Yes, when it's grown, you need to share this with the humanity. Open licensing, open source.
Yeah, but and the beauty about this kind of frameworks is not just freely do whatever you want. There's rules into open source, and there's rules and how you let other people in your technology. in ways that it doesn't lose the purpose, or also it's not deceiving to the other people, or it also can be used for something that was not intended to be used.
Exactly.
So it's about being open, but also keeping in mind that there are rules in place that you should follow.
That's the other side of also innovation and with purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we need to protect where it's needed to be protected and incentivize and open where it's needed to be done. For example, as we work at Digital for Planet a lot with this Horizon Europe funding, it's a very specific Pillar 2 Horizon Europe funding, it's research and innovation.
Okay.
And there are a lot of projects on this open source and open licensing, a lot of rules. European Union is like the champion in regulation. And also, as you said, it makes sense because you need also some rules and limits to protect the solutions, to share them, but also to protect where it can also be used, harm on other people and used in a bad
that's
way.
why we have a legal system.
Yes, that's why we have lawyers.
Exactly, we're not that bad.
No. Let's not kill all the lawyers.
So, you advise across jurisdictions. Have you seen any standard samples of countries or institutions integrating sustainability and digital innovation into law and in a forward-thinking way?
That's an excellent question. Maybe you know, if not, it's worth reading. Stanford University has a center on AI, and they publish this annual index. It's Stanford University AI Index, something like that. And it's been out 10 days ago or something, maybe 2 weeks. I saw it 10 days ago. And there is an overview, and there is point number 4 and point number 5. Point number 4 is about innovation in 2025. There is a graph. The US is really still number 1. It innovates. China is catching up, is super close to the US in this graphic. They're really very close to the US in terms of innovation. And point number 5, the next one after point number 4 in this Stanford AI Index, is about regulation, AI regulation. And obviously you have European Union. So you have OECD, European Union, and for a reason, the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation of the EU, now affected more than 100 countries, law in more than 100 countries. It's absolutely extraterritorial, and it protects, I think, the right values like privacy. It's about protection.
Consent.
Yeah, it's about consent. It's about, private data, trust, security. I think EU AI Act will do something similar. Will have quite extraterritorial effect, and there are other regulations, Cyber Resilience Act, Cyber Security Act. We'll see how it goes, but EU regulates a lot in a quite forward-thinking way, especially regarding social sustainability.
Yeah.
Social sustainability meaning, the trust, security, human-centered solutions, protection of privacy. So it's still, Europe regulates is still true as well.
So from what I'm getting is like in every country they have their different approaches. So one is running on the race of innovation, on the race of the technology itself, developing the technology, and then another one is running in innovating in the policy making and in regulation making. When the technology arrives, then the legal system is going to be ready in place.
It is already in place, yes,
Okay.
in the European Union. And the thing is that the famous Brussels effect, quite a few laws as the GDPR, and I expect more or less the same, but EU AI Act, it's quite extraterritorial.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because the way it's being impacted all the business, and now business are global, or at least they have presence in more than one country. So it's fairly easy to be touched by the GDPR. Yeah.
yes, you're totally right, and that's a great example. Beforehand, as we discussed, we had this more, let's say, extractive economy or commodities economy. We had value chains, the global value chains, which were physical. Now, in the digital economy, everything is online.
Yeah.
So it's much more global than before, even more global than global value chains, let's say. It's global value chains 2.0.
I like that. So You've championed legal design and system thinking. What would you what would a truly user-centered, future-proof legal system look like, whether for tech, contracts, IP, or AI?
Mhm. This question has a lot of elements. One element is user-centered, future-proof,
Yeah.
and legal system. And we say legal system for the tech in general because it's AI, it's contracts, platforms. I'd say when we speak about good legal system, let's say future-proof, user-centered, we speak a lot about policy salience. I think before we should assess or even dream this or that policy or legal system being salient, we should think about societal desirability. So for me, the user-centered means end users. End users for me is citizens. It's you and I. So being socially acceptable or accepted is one thing. There were a lot of socially accepted things since 2020, right? During the pandemic, a lot of things came from the government and the society had to accept them. We didn't have much choice. Social desirability is something slightly different, and I think the user-centered, future-proof legal system should be socially desirable. Two elements of this social desirability. Very quickly, I don't want to be super theoretical. A simple example of illustrate that would be, so two elements, social acceptance. First, imagine the balance. In one scale, you have knowledge, in another scale, you have fear. In between, you have information. So the more information you have, the more you have knowledge. The less information you have, the more you have fear. It's not necessarily about a policy or legal system, it's about anything, like a forest, sunrise, right? So the goal, I think, and the thing about social acceptance is to have more real, reliable, simply accessible information about anything, about the technology, about the policy, about the whole legal system. So the more you have information, the more you have knowledge, the less you have fear. So you would avoid these situations with burning the masks or destroying the 5G antennas, because people have more knowledge, so less fear. That's first step. Next step is the right of citizens, really legally enforceable right of citizens to information, including the right of actively participating in the making of this information. I know it's a little bit more complicated now than the example with the balance. Let's say, for example, sustainability information to use in lawmaking and in courts. Citizens can provide evidence. This evidence, handled in a particular way, becomes data. Then we use all the GDPR and all to have this data be ethically correct, ethically proof, etc. And then you can use this evidence in courts, in litigation, in lawmaking, for example. So the citizens participate quite directly in the lawmaking, not only through votes. We know also the limits of the democratic system and the voting system, correct? Due to recent events. So here we have a completely different mechanism, how citizens can participate in the making of the information. And coming back, one step back, the more information, the more knowledge, the less fear, the more the system is future-proof and user-centered and citizen-centered.
Oh, interesting. And I like the balance, and it's so true in everything. In everything, the more you understand about a situation, a technology, a process, the less you demystify it.
Exactly.
So and it becomes something that you can really fully take advantage of or put in your everyday life, and also can help you to have to surpass the bias against new developments or against technology.
Exactly. You can relate to that directly. Instead of having fear, oh, this is lawyer stuff. Oh, this is legal stuff. I don't understand anything because it's complicated.
Yeah.
No, there is nothing complicated, especially if you participated in the making of that.
Yeah, of course. Just join in. Start. If we want digital tools, platforms, and IP system to support long-term sustainability, where do we begin? Is it education, policy design, or something else?
So actually, everything that you mentioned is super relevant. You mentioned design. Where was that? Education, design, policy, something else. I'd say all these things are important, but in my opinion, we should start with design. You know, this famous sustainability by design, but if we really embed this at the, basically pre-production level, at the conceptual level, you embed sustainability in the design. Then, of course, you proceed with education, with policy, also with IP. But yes, starting from the design.
Design, because that's what makes the entire system or process or technology from what you take into consideration when you're making it.
Yeah, from the very beginning, from the upstream. But then the rest is super important as well. In education, starting from school education, for example, I don't know, to avoid digital obesity, like, you know, all these like digital things also make kids thinking about circularity, like changing phones every year, changing laptops every year. Yeah, every time is a new one. Is it a good thing? So starting from education, actually from very young stages.
Once when they're open to have their minds changed, because you know, the older you get, the less likely you are to change your mind.
Yeah, I used to, with my parents, we were used to that I receive a new iPhone for every birthday. If it's embedded in your childhood memories and they're happy, you will never change.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like, because it becomes like a tradition for them, or part of like a happy memory that they can emulate again by buying something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Many tech leaders talk about building responsibly. From your view, what does it really mean to embed responsibility into innovation from the start?
It's very much, it's like the continuation of the previous question and answer, but let's develop it further, because basically the answer to this one is also from the design on the one hand, and on the other hand from education from very young ages. But because it was already the discussion in the previous one, let's add something. Let's take an example, because you can use this example in any field, but I will give an example of writing. Let's say research and innovation writing. Either you write a scientific article or I don't know, a case note, or a research innovation proposal, like we write a lot for the Horizon Europe funding, or tenders, anything. Let's say you're like research innovation writing. You can use, and everyone is using AI in this writing. So there are at least 3 different stages, or let's say 3 different strands. Strand 1 is when it's ethically okay-ish and even recommended. For example, using AI for spell check, grammar, or even translation. That would be ethically okay. Then second tier is when it's ethically okay-ish, but really subject to control. And the third tier obviously would be ethically not okay.
Never use it.
No, you can still use it, but not recommended at all. And I explain then also like the human role and risk, let's say, mitigation. And that's an example about the writing, but I guess anything that you create with AI, and soon there will be news created with AI. We had a discussion on Wednesday with friends who work for a television. I will not tell you more than that, but for television. And I don't know, 5 or maximum 10 years from here, AI will be involved much more in the news making in every stage. Anyways, coming back to my example. So we have these 3 tiers, and human oversight, proofreading, control, and decision-making, whether publish it or not, whether use it or not, even for the first tier, where it's like just to proofread, is important. So human oversight for any of them, and risk mitigation also for the first tier, just check that everything is okay. For the second one, when you, for example, generate footnotes, you give references, just links, and ask generating footnotes. Recently, I asked AI to follow a particular format of footnotes for an article. I already had footnotes in this case.
They were done.
They were done, but in a different format. It was like Oxford something, and it was for like Harvard. I don't remember exactly.
You needed to change. Okay.
Yes. It was for ACM conference, and they have a particular way of citation. I asked AI to do that, and maybe just because it was my book, so exactly to my book. So it's like a single authored monograph. I refer to it once in the article. AI added another name, like, I don't know, John Smith. I was puzzled. I write to the AI, who is John Smith? It's like, oh, it's a co-author of Anna Aseeva. I was like, really? I am Anna Aseeva. So I really discussed with AI, and it was shocking to me because it was not John Smith. It was another name. And apparently AI found maybe another Anna Aseeva publishing with that person. And it decided to add the name to the book for no reason. I have no clue.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's just because it's my book, I noticed that. And then I had to reread every footnote that AI didn't
now
add
you
anything.
were second guessing everything. You're like, what else did you do here?
Yes. So I had to go through all footnotes and check every word in the title. AI could add something to the title of the article that you already cited, just in a different format.
Oh wow, that's scary, because then it can damage the whole research.
Yes, and that was just footnotes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you ask to summarize something or develop something?
Okay.
And so here the risk mitigation is very different. Either you then go through every word, or just use a bit less AI. And then obviously the non-recommendable, the third strand, is asking AI writing something from scratch. I would not recommend. And because we speak about writing, it's writing from scratch, but then creating anything, news or any content, any good, any service, because now we are in the age of digital goods and digital services. I guess don't ask AI to create it from scratch. Again, coming back to one of your questions, in the EU soon we will have all these like tight regulations. Even EU AI Act speaks a little bit about that. Not too much. Cyber Resilience Act as well, Cyber Security Act. But there will be more regulations. Imagine people start asking AI to create something from scratch.
Yeah.
You will have what I had as a situation with the footnotes, where all the footnotes were already there. I just needed to reformat them.
Yeah, because that's one of the things we have been seeing, especially when we talk about copyright, AI generated content.
There you go. Then you can have plagiarism easily.
And there's so far the different authorities that said you can protect your copyright if there's a human input and there's a human like guiding the whole process.
Yes.
It was not just the AI who did the whole work.
AI cannot be the author.
Exactly. So it's when the human used the AI as a tool to create, then okay, it is protected. But if you just put a general prompt and you took whatever the AI gave you, then that itself there's no authorship from the human side, so there's no copyright to be granted. So that's what we're seeing right now on that development. So it's interesting because it connects with that. There's the human input is very, very important. It's crucial to make sure that it's accurate, that there's no hallucination, that it's not going out of the way and doing things that have nothing to do, or creating footnotes or making reference that is out of place.
Or plagiarism. For example,
plagiarism, exactly.
You ask AI to, okay, please write me a paragraph or a page on this and that. AI writes without footnotes as if it has written by itself by taking information from 1 gazillion of websites. And in reality, maybe it took this whole page, and word by word, from somebody else's work, which is open source. And that it's plagiarism, and you will be like then accused of plagiarism.
Yeah, that's a scary thing. It's like I think no technologies should be used unchecked. You always need to have a surveillance eye. I use AI very much in especially on the creating of my podcast and a lot of the tools that really help you do the groundwork faster.
Yes.
But you have to be vigilant. You cannot just let it run free.
Oversight, revision and decision making.
Yeah.
The final decision should be human.
Yeah.
Actually, there is an interesting case. I just read the one pager. There is now a claim under the preliminary ruling procedure. It's a specific procedure in the European Union.
Okay, so we go into the flash section. I will ask you to pick one. So you have to think fast and pick one. You can explain yourself if you want. And the idea is to give like an overall picture what you think about these specific choices.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start. Rewrite the legal system from scratch or debug the one we've got.
Debug the one we've got, for
Okay.
sure.
A future where every citizen has an AI lawyer or where no one needs one.
I don't choose the first one. AI lawyer, it would be too expensive. You will have an AI lawyer and then a physical lawyer or who is
Overseeing what the
overseeing
AI does.
what the AI does. If the AI lawyer is for free because it's the free version, it's still the same cost, just the physical lawyer. So it depends, but I am strongly against only AI lawyer for all the reasons that we just discussed. No lawyers, no, I don't think it's a good idea. We will lose jobs and a lot of my students. I taught in academia for 10 years, like all my students from different countries will lose jobs. I'd say rather no one needs a lawyer for different reasons, that there is no crime, nothing, no
Happiness.
happiness.
We live in utopia.
But yeah, it's a bit like futuristic stuff.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully there will be a moment that we all going to live in harmony and 100% in peace.
Let's hope for that.
So, public policy made in parliaments or prototype in hackathons.
I like the prototype and hackathons, but I don't think that it's democratic enough.
Okay.
But it's very much, it mirrors the idea, you remember the citizen participation, like in the production of information, including the one that uses evidence in lawmaking.
Yes.
So this prototype in hackathons, I think it's stage one, and then still debated in parliaments as stage two, because parliaments are still the most democratic institutions,
Yeah.
especially in the European Union, I'd say. So I say step one, prototyped in hackathons. Step two, made in parliament. I mean, not
A
made, but let's
combination.
say approved,
Yeah, sanctioned.
finalized in parliaments. Yes.
Okay, interesting. A world where every startup has a sustainability clause or where no startup needs one.
The second one is a nice one, but I think it's really very much futuristic. And the first one is already, it's the reality. So a startup that has a sustainability clause, every startup, is
Yeah.
better.
Teach ethics to machines or teach systems to listen to people.
I'd say teach systems to listen to people. Ethics to machines, very futuristic.
And also it's very relative.
It's extremely relative. The
Yeah.
values are,
There's no
quite
absolute
Yes,
in
yes,
ethics
yes.
there's no absolute. So yeah.
Yes, and something that was relevant or shocking or horrible 100 years ago is just
Everyday
normal
life.
or obsolete today, right?
Yeah, exactly. Copyrights that expire with cultural relevance or last as long as human memory.
I'd say copyright might maybe in 5% of cases being good to last long, and in all other cases, as long as it's culturally relevant, that it expires. I would rather say so. Yeah, I am quite a bit in favor of open licenses and shared solutions and shared things, but again with some limits, with some protection.
Some limits, yeah. Climate lawsuits argued by AI or peace treaties negotiated with virtual reality.
Well, peace treaties negotiated in virtual reality would mean virtual treaties in virtual reality. So for virtual peace and the war and peace situation, they would all be virtual. It's not true. So I'd say climate lawsuits argued by AI with human oversight always. So
Always.
more expensive climate lawsuits than now. But yeah, because I have to choose one of the two, I prefer the first one. The second one, I don't know, it's a
No.
VR.
Legal reforms crowdsourced by global citizens or co-drafted with machines trained on centuries of case law.
Well, here again is the same. Like as you said, you use a lot AI for some basic stuff, and I'm sorry, especially for legal trainees and legal interns, that machine can be much faster in revising centuries of case law and
true.
like tons of case law, right? So it can help, but it should be again maybe step one, and then crowdsourced by global citizens is awesome. I love it. So I think both, but step one, yeah, is like co-drafted with machines, but then crowdsourced by global citizens. I really like it.
Okay, final flash question. Data treated as a public good or as a personal property with royalties?
Yeah, there was at a higher level discussion. I remember at least Katarina Pistor discussed this data as public good in her Code of Capital. Maybe even people before. I just remember this work. To be honest, that was quite a theoretical work. In practice, I'd say personal data is not only properties, like there are not only property issues, I mean, to be protected, but all these like security and stuff. I think personal data and sensitive data should be protected as personal property, maybe not with royalties, but then non-personal and non-sensitive data could be and maybe should be a public good or even commons. Data as commons, also again, I don't remember if it's Katerina Pistor or somebody else. There are a lot of writings and discussions now about data as the commons. Why not?
Okay, interesting. Okay, you can take the palette.
Yes.
And now we go to the game. True or futuristic? Okay, no worries. So true or futuristic? True, meaning that it's going to happen soon, it's about to happen, it's already happening. Or futuristic, not yet, maybe never, you're too far ahead. Okay, let's start. Every digital license will include sustainability terms by default.
Yes. I think it's already sort of started happening.
Yeah, it's something that we're seeing, and people are more aware of the footprint of technology.
But also sustainability by design, and not only environmental, but also social and economic sustainability.
Exactly.
I think 10 years from now, it could be quite true. Yeah.
AI agents will negotiate copyright and licensing for creators.
Yes, could happen.
Yeah.
Not now, but yes.
Platforms will be legally required to report on their algorithm impact.
True. I think with Cyber Resilience Act, Cybersecurity Act, all that, then there are other acts, including Digital Services Act in the EU. At least in the EU, this is already becoming true in a way, partially, yeah.
Okay. IP enforcement will happen through decentralized, community-led systems.
I hope not. Well,
we need the courts.
Futuristic. I mean, yeah, okay. But I mean, you mean DAOs, like decentralized?
Yeah, I mean that they will replace the court system.
Futuristic.
Yeah. I need to make some outrage statement, right?
Now you give a lot of ideas to PhD students to write like.
You can send them these questions. Maybe they will get inspired.
Yes, totally.
Open source AI will carry a trust label to ensure ethical deployment.
Again, it's already happening in a way, very partially. We're not there yet, but in some sense and in some fields, yes. For example, in Digital for Planet, we have this one project which is called Certain. It's about certification and regulation of AI. And it's in a way, I mean, it's not about that, but it's becoming true.
Okay. Legal user experience will become a standard field in both tech and law schools.
For law schools, I really hope, I mean, it's already reality in some schools. I will not give you the names. I don't want
It's okay.
to, but yes, totally true. And it's already becoming reality in some progressive law schools. The tech schools have no idea, but I hope as well. Very good question. I like it. I love it. Yeah.
Digital sustainability will be measured and taxed like carbon emissions.
Yes. It's already, like in a way happening,
Yeah.
but not that clear cut. But
Okay.
yes, there are all these calculators about websites. You have calculators that can show you how many emissions a website emits, like CO2
wow.
emissions. Then you can tell me, okay, there are like a lot of calculators, and what is the methodology behind? Of course, if you want to go all the way, you first study the methodology behind the calculator, and then you trust the calculator. But we are already there.
Okay, so it's already there's already in the mindset of the people to
Not
to,
only mindset, these calculators are
it's
used.
they're tools that are available. Yeah.
Calculators, and on the other hand of the spectrum, I worked with that a lot when I was like more like freelance consultant to create it's an eco design of the websites. It's here for the last at least 5 years already.
Okay.
Sober websites, it depends which interface you use, like all these like pop-up windows. It's like it's not very complicated, but you can design a very non-heavy and ecologically friendly website. And then the hosts and the platforms who use only green electricity, all these things.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
A global IP commons will emerge to encourage innovation with shared benefits.
I hope, yes. That's a little bit what we discussed regarding data also as commons, yeah.
Yeah. Consumers would vote directly on platform policy through civic apps.
I like this.
That will be great, right?
That will be great, and it's also a little bit like regarding the citizens participating in the making of the information, and then finally of policy and lawmaking. Totally.
And finally, inventorship will be redefined to include collaborative networks, human and machines.
I think it's already happening. It's already the case. Inventorship, no, as we discussed in IP, only a human being can be the author. That's very important, but let's see how it develops.
Yeah, there's a lot of room there to grow. So one final question to close the episode. If you could share one message with everyone shaping the future of law, tech, or innovation today, what's the one principle or mindset you hope they carry forward?
I'd say this collective co-creation, bottom-up co-creation. So something that we already discussed, and user-centered, meaning citizen-centered legal system, which is such because it's also co-created by citizens. And here we touched upon like citizens giving the evidence, participating through the evidence in lawmaking and policy making, and also this consumers voting directly on platform policy through civic apps. It rejoins completely the message. The more people are aware, the more they have information, knowledge, and the more they relate, or they can relate to policy, to law, to a technology, the less there is fear, and the more there is not only acceptance, but also desirability.
Of course. Thank you so much. It's been lovely talking with you. It's been a very interesting, fulfilling experience to see someone who is working in the midst of all these technologies, but you have also a very inclusive and kind of a collaborative or kind of a community sense of how technology can develop and how we can form our society with technology.
Yes, that's the message. Because, I mean, in digital sustainability, if we care about environmental sustainability, which is very often the case when you say digital sustainability or sustainability for the tech or for digital, for ICT, people immediately think about emissions and environment, but it's also social and economic sustainability, and they're not separate, they're all together. That's for you need, like,
You need
social
everything.
acceptability and social desirability and socioeconomic rights and equality and all that. So all these socioeconomic and environmental values. Yeah.
Yeah. So the future of technology doesn't have to be cold or chaotic. It can be thoughtful, fair, and full of opportunity if we design it that way. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for reminding us that law is not just a set of restrictions, it can be a platform for vision, collaboration, and global progress. Because when purpose meets innovation, we don't just imagine better systems, we build them.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Laetitia.
Thank
Let's
you
make
so
it
much.
happen.
Yay!